check out the podcast section.
Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
There's a fly ball. Center field. Margot's got it, and the Rays have won 13 straight to begin the new season. They have matched the 87 Milwaukee Brewers and the 82 Atlanta Braves.
Oh, yes, they have, and 21,000 fans were there, including myself and my co-host, Nick Geddes, to watch every glorious moment of this incredible, historic comeback for the Rays. It didn't seem like it was going to be their day, although I never lost hope, because the Red Sox suck. They're not a good baseball team, by the way. And the Rays win 13 in a row. They have outscored their opponents by almost an average of 6 runs per game. Total runs 101 to 30 in this run. It's a 9-3 win yesterday when they were trailing 3-1. Lost their starting pitcher to injury. Had a 28-year-old named Brandon Bristow in his major league debut come up and pick up 3 innings for his first career save. Rule 5 pitcher Kevin Kelly comes in with the bases loaded, shuts it down. Manuel Margot bunting with 2 out and the bases loaded. I mean, you cannot make this script up. And the most amazing thing of all yesterday was Stu Sternberg shook my hand and said, "Thanks for coming." I mean, what more do you need on a miracle? And then I go to Amalie Arena, and just when you think Braden Point's not going to get his 50th goal, bada bing, bada boom, in the third period, he gets 50 and 51, and the Lightning get to leave the regular season after 4 straight losses with at least a nice confidence-filling 5-0 shutout win for the Moose. Another great story. He had his little kid on the ice last night, what may have been his last game in an NHL uniform. So, man, so many great feelings. And I get to go to Taylor Swift tonight with my daughter. Like, is this a weekend or what? Is this a weekend?
You're living a life right now.
I am.
You're living a life,
yes,
no doubt about it.
Life is good. Life is good.
But to your point, though, the handshake between you and Stu, I froze. There's
Where's
people,
the paparazzi?
Everybody, people on Twitter are telling me, they're doing the whole pics or it didn't happen. Where's the pic? Where's the pic? Listen, it made me froze.
Yeah.
It really did.
It felt good. It felt good to reach out and shake his less than firm handshake.
Not to mention, I thought if I would have pulled my phone out anyway, looking back on it, he might have seen me right there in front because I was right next to you. Like, what am I going to do? Whip my phone out real quick and take a
It was like he saw a ghost.
Yeah.
He's like, when he realized it was me and I was shaking his hand and I was like, "Hey, great crowd today, Stu. Congratulations. Thanks for the $10 tickets. Great day." He's like, "Thanks for coming." It was a great day. It was a great day. And 21,000 plus at the Trop yesterday seemed like more than that. At first, I thought it was maybe 16 to 17, I think I put out on Twitter. And then it started to fill in even more. The whole bottom
completely full for the most part.
Was almost full for the most part. And then the standing room only, like all the way around. There's obviously a lot of people that have brought the ballpark pass. It's just a great atmosphere. I mean, when the Trop is full or nearly full, it's got a good vibe to it. The man had a great vibe to it yesterday. And I said it on the show yesterday. I'll repeat it again. I think the fans have been a big part of this 13-0. Nine of the games have been at home?
More than 10.
10 have been at home. 10 have been at home. Yeah, 10 games have been at home. Now they go to Toronto today to see if they can break the record. But, man, what a special day at the Trop yesterday. That's one I will always remember. And so many great plays. And it's just the way this team plays, the long ball, Brandon Lau, 5 home runs and 5 starts now. He's 8 of his last 18. And this is by the way, to set up the show, good morning, everybody. The JP Peterson Show brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Taliano Insurance, Gold and Diamond Source, American Mortgage Services. We thank you all for sponsoring our program here. We're no guests today. We're going to go just me and Nick talking about all the great things that are happening in Tampa Bay sports. We got the Jason Licht press conference from yesterday, which was somewhat illuminating. We have to translate the draft speak from the general manager to kind of glean anything from this. But I think we got a couple nuggets we'll play for you there. We'll get into the Lightning and deep dive into the playoffs, which will start on Tuesday, as we thought. Tuesday, Thursday in Toronto, probably Saturday. I'm hearing Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday.
Maybe a back-to-back, which I'm not thrilled about, but may not be. Though NHL will work not to do that, but there's, among the insiders last night saying that they'd heard a little bit from the NHL that it might be Saturday, Sunday. So prepare yourself. But we'll get hopefully the final schedule tonight after the final regular season games are played. So we're going to get to all that, a lot of other stuff on the national stage to get to the Gators scrimmage last night. If you're a Gator fan, most important thing last night was you got a 5-star safety that committed. The game was less than stellar from an offensive standpoint, so much so where Billy Napier came out afterward and said, yeah, we're going to go get another quarterback because Graham Mertz and Jack Miller didn't necessarily blow the doors off anybody last night. So lots to get into. We're going to start with the Rays, obviously, with their record 13-0 start now equals the 82 Braves and the 87 Brewers, neither of which won the World Series, by the way. So long way to go, but, man, is this fun, and the way these guys are playing is even more fun. Everybody's stepping up. I want to read a quote from the Times story about that I think kind of encapsulates everything that the Rays are doing now that makes them special. And it comes from Ryan Thompson, who's been around a while. Where is this quote? Basically, gosh, I should have bookmarked this particular quote. Basically, is what he's saying is everybody is completely unselfish in everything that they're doing. And I know to some baseball fans that kind of sounds, well, that's kind of like, coach speak but when it comes from a player and it comes from the heart, it's like, guys are moving other guys over. They're not trying to pad their stats. They're, you look at Manuel Margot, who comes in with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and as a pinch hitter. Now, you want, obviously, he's a run producer. He's a guy that you want to, let him swing away and do what he's going to do. And Kevin Cash didn't call for the bunt. Manuel Margot did this on his own. And, it's a bit of a risk with 2 out, no doubt about it. But he felt confident enough to get it done. And I think I heard this on Rick Stroud's podcast. Steve Versnick said, I think there's only been 35 situations in the last, 50 years where guys have bunted with the bases loaded and 2 out, but none have been a pinch hitter. Wow. So it's just these weird stats, I know, but they're just doing things that have never been done before, and they've been playing baseball since the Stone Age. It's crazy. Yeah, it's almost as if they're going out of their way to just set all these little history marks. Like, he comes up to pinch hit for Rayleigh, I think, in that spot, I want to say, in the 5th inning. And, and he comes up in first pitch, he lays down him. I was absolutely floored. Yeah. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Because the Rays don't bunt. The Rays don't bunt. I mean, most teams really don't bunt. I don't even know how often they practice bunting, to be honest with you. And the fact that it's not just that he bunted in that situation, he put, the perfect bunt. Yeah. It was unplayable. Yeah.
I mean, he put it in the perfect spot. He gets Kluber having to go all the way to his right, a slow Corey Kluber, mind you, off the mound.
Right.
No shot at all. I mean, or Blyer, rather. That right there, to me, just shows you the lengths that the Rays are willing to go to win baseball games right now. They're doing it in so many different unconventional ways. It's like we know they're – how many home runs are they up to now? 32? 32, right, through 13 games?
Yep.
Everybody
and Brandon Lau went deep yesterday.
Yeah, but don't be fooled. This team is not just a one-trick pony. Like, they can win in so many different ways. And we saw, I think, yesterday perfectly encapsulated that.
Look at Randy going the opposite way yesterday.
Against the shift, yep.
Against the shift to get the big RBI, to knock guys instead of trying – of course he wants to pull the ball and get a big home run, but no. He's gonna hit it where it's pitched, knock it the other way, get an RBI, get your team the lead, and let the next guy do his thing. And that may sound like we all, all of us who grew up playing baseball, that's the right way to play the game. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? Because Major League Baseball players don't do that.
No.
Because they get paid for their stats. They get paid to hit home runs. They get paid for RBIs. You don't get an extra, bump in your check when you hit it the opposite. A power hitter goes the opposite way or lays down a bunt to help his team get the run in. And that's just that may sound strange to you. Well, shouldn't they be playing team baseball? They should be, but most of them don't. Here's the quote I was looking for. This is from John Romano's story in the Times from Ryan Thompson. It says, "We don't play baseball the way everybody else plays baseball. The way I've seen us encourage each other, celebrate each other is unheard of. I've talked to a lot of people about this, and what we have is different. The lack of egos in here, the number of people willing to fill whatever role we need on any specific day. Hitters trying to move guys on the base paths instead of trying to go big and pad stats. Pitchers willing to fit in roles that they're not used to. No egos, no complainings. All we want to do is win games." That's different. And it's just different. And I've bitched about the Blake Snell trade. It was a disaster. Okay, we probably traded him a year earlier than we should have. You shouldn't have dismantled that World Series pitching staff. But be that as it may, this is why Blake Snell probably was moved more than anything else. He's not one of these guys. Blake Snell is a me guy. Blake Snell is a don't trade for a slapdick prospect, right? Blake Snell is a guy that doesn't like the way the Rays do things. And I think and this is what happens when guys get big heads and are going to get big money, you're out. They ship them out. And I think and you may see guys go to other teams and play well, but if they're not part of that, this is the part of the Rays that we talk about that I don't think people talk enough about. Yes, it does cost less money to have younger, hungrier players. Part of the byproduct of that is having guys that aren't going to be telling the manager what they're doing. Guys that make $350 and $400 million a year, they can tell the manager what they're going to do because they have that kind of power. None of the guys on this roster have that power. And never will, really, because that's not the way we do business.
It's not meant for everybody. This team is not meant for everybody.
Nope.
I mean, Ryan Thompson hit the nail on the head, asking guys to come in and fill roles that they've never had to be in before, roles that maybe that they're not even comfortable with at first, right? You have to be really open to it, but you have to buy in. That's the buy-in factor. And, I mean, to the point about the Blake Snell thing, I mean, Shane McClanahan doesn't want to get taken out in the fifth inning or the sixth inning. Glasnow doesn't either. But eventually, they come to their senses. They get over it. They move on. They know they're going to get the ball in 5 days. It is what it is. How many times this year, and again, Margot was a great example, Luke Raley has been hitting the ball pretty good. He had a double in that game, if you recall.
Yep.
And the fifth inning, he takes him out, puts Margot in. How many times have you seen that this year? It doesn't matter if it's the fifth inning, the fourth inning, the sixth inning. If it's a big situation in the game, he's going to put the best guy at the plate that he wants, to hell with the lineup that he set. And there's no egos that are going to complain about it because they know they're going to get back in there the next day anyway, and they just want to win baseball games.
Brandon Lau had 4 straight starts and 4 straight home runs. And sat. Now, I don't know if that's so smart, but what happens? The next day he comes back and hits another home run. And he was used as a pinch hitter, right?
Yeah. And
comes up and gets a knock.
Exactly. And I'm still convinced that Harold Ramirez got an extra start this week because of the effort that he showed in the first game against Boston. I think that went a long way. That's the kind of team that the Rays and culture that they've created here now. And also how much fun they're having with each other. You see it in the clubhouse. I mean, yesterday, did you see Randy Arozarena is walking around the clubhouse. He took one of the big TV cameras, and he's walking around the clubhouse acting like he's a TV camera guy. And he's going up to all the players, like, asking them questions in Spanish. I don't know what he was saying. But, like, they're just fun. And, like, they waited for his name already, Brito, right?
Yeah.
They waited for him to get
Bristow.
into the Bristow. There you go, Braden Bristow. They waited for him to get into the clubhouse yesterday, and then they had a tequila party. A tequila party.
Well, it is Thursday afternoon. Thursday's the new Friday, right? It's happy hour. They got some time to get to Toronto, so why not? And of course, they all dressed in their Yonde get-ups, too. Tight pants,
and Jason
sleeveless.
Adams. Jason Adams won. Jason Adams won completely.
And the knit caps, you haven't seen some of those pictures, man. It is priceless. So, man, these guys are having fun. It shows on the baseball field. And going to that game yesterday for $10.
I'm so happy we went.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I would have been kicking myself if
$40
we weren't there.
first round for beers, but, is what it is.
Well, I think you got a little bit of a – you got the extra beer, right? Like, you didn't get, like, just the normal –
No, I got the unholy.
There you go. Yeah. That's why it was $40.
Yeah. Well, the unholy beer buzz in a cup. 1 cup, you get a beer buzz off the unholy 9% alcohol. So if you're looking for those type, and you want some numbers, there's a little hack for you.
Hey, somebody told me in the comments yesterday to get the Mr. Softy. I did get Mr. Softy.
How'd it go?
It was pretty good. I got it in my little helmet cup and everything around the 6th inning.
Yeah.
And I was chilling.
That was nice.
I was chilling.
Yeah, I went for the Monster Energy because I had to.
I noticed that. You disappear. You come back with a Monster Energy, and I'm like, where did you get that?
I was going to get another beer, and I was like, nah, I got to work tonight. It's going to be a long night. If I get another unholy, it's gonna be, plus I got to drive back to Tampa, so I want to make sure everything was right. So I got the Monster Energy drink, and we and just watch the rest. They're just in Bristow when he comes in. I'm like. Was it 9-3 at that point?
It was 8-3.
8-3 at that point.
And you looked at me and were like, "Is this the right call?"
You got the record on the line. Okay, you've worked very hard to get here. You got Adam and Fairbanks waiting in the wings that you can use, right? So, and I'm like, is this the best? We're going to go to some 28-year-old making his major league debut in this pressure cooker situation with an 8-3 lead.
I don't think it
was.
was.
Get to 8-6 in a hurry, and all he does is go out and throw 3 scoreless.
I don't think it was a pressure cooker situation for Kevin Kelly or him, because Kevin Kelly had a great performance too, by the way, to get him after the Springs injury.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a pressure cooker situation. I think that Boston team was dead.
Yeah.
They were dead. The second it went to 4-3, I think they just probably put their hands in the air and said, we can't beat this team.
Yeah.
And based on the lineup they put out there yesterday, embarrassing. Yeah. By the way, we went through the whole payroll, and we're still like scratching our heads. How in the world that's an $180 million payroll of a team?
Crazy.
I don't know what they're paying these guys, but that lineup yesterday was embarrassing, right? And then we go to the Rays payroll. The active payroll's $51 million. $51 million. That should not get lost.
$51 million.
That should not get lost in this whole equation. Is that they are 13-0 with a $51 million active payroll.
And Tyler Glass now hasn't made a start.
No. No.
And now you've got Jeffrey Springs on the DL. That's the only bad thing that happened.
Well, he hasn't officially been put on the IL, and it looks like we might get something on him today.
Yeah.
I saw Jason Collette. I'm not sure if you know who that is.
Yeah.
He put Jordan Romano, the pitcher for the Blue Jays, I guess had this injury 2 years ago, and he wound up only missing 10 days on the IL.
Okay.
And Jeffrey Springs, I'll play the audio here in a little bit, but he seems pretty optimistic about it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, whenever you hear ulnar ligament, nerve damage, this, that, numbness, I'm like, oh, that's just screams Tommy John.
Well, he said it's not a pain thing. It's not a pain thing, he said.
It's a numbness.
He described it as like a funny bone.
Huh. Well, that may just be the ligaments in a bad spot.
Yeah, so he didn't sound
bodies.
He didn't sound overly concerned about it.
Okay.
So
good.
So, but obviously he's getting the imaging today, and hopefully we get something back later.
All right, cool. Well, did we do the Margot bunt yet?
No, we haven't gotten the Margot. I wanted to go through these highlights just because everybody could hear the crowd.
Yeah.
The crowd live yesterday was. I mean, I haven't seen a regular seat. I was at opening day. This was louder.
Oh, much.
This was much louder.
Yeah, much louder. Yeah. This is the Margot bunt.
Well, the Rays will have sent 9 men to the plate here in the 5th. To take the lead. Now Margot puts down a bunt. The throw, no throw to first. The run scores. He caught everybody by surprise and bunts the run home. And the Rays take a 5-3 lead. How about that?
We've seen Margot do that before. That is really becoming part part of his game. And you had better be aware. He, I'll tell you, has a knack for getting it down and deadening the ball. Look how late he goes and catches everybody by surprise. Blyer has no play. Well, look at him get a full head of steam, too. The footwork in the box.
Yeah, that is really, really well done. And it just, I missed that part of the game. I mean, I think that's why it's so exciting. It's a surprise, but clearly, Manuel Margot works on that. Other Rays do not. It's not part of, part of the philosophy of the Rays to even sacrifice bunt, but that was well executed. And of course, the Red Sox jump out to an early lead as Springs gives up his first run of the year, a home run to Rev Snyder. And then, there were a few Red Sox fans there, especially in our section.
We were in that kind of like Red Sox section, kind of.
Yeah, $10 tickets for lower level, down the left field line. That's pretty damn good. Thanks again, Stu. Appreciate that. And it's a huge reason why there's 21,000 there, by the way.
Yeah, on a Thursday with school going on.
Huge
and there were a good amount of kids there, too.
Yeah, there were.
You told me, I said, I'm so happy for all these parents that pulled their kids out of school for this.
This is part of their education, absolutely. Go see some history. Absolutely. Get out of their stupid classroom and go experience the world. That's part of history, absolutely. That's part of your learning. It's not just – you don't learn just in school. Part of your childhood is – learning
real life experiences.
Real life experiences, big part of
In fact, the Rays just taught them a lesson: teamwork.
That's right.
There you
Teamwork.
Go. Can't teach that in a classroom.
Selflessness.
Yes.
Meeting the moment.
No ego.
There's a lot of great lessons in sports, as we know.
Overcoming adversity when Springs gets hurt.
That's right. The underdog. Making the most of what you have. Don't let other people tell you can't do things. It's all these things. You kidding me? What a storybook we got right there. Absolutely.
We totally just debunked school there.
In fact, don't even go to school, kids.
Don't they say that, though? Sports is like the greatest teacher for real life and everything.
Absolutely. I mean, when I think back on my Little League days and all those, that's where I learned most of my lessons. Now, you better have a coach and some players around you that are teaching you the right things, because sometimes that's not quite the case. But I think we've done a much better job of that in recent years. And sports does teach you so many good things. All right, what about the Yandy Diaz home run? What about, you got that one?
Yep.
Because just when you think things are going to not going so good, they're finally behind and maybe they'll trail in an inning. Not so fast, my friend.
We just saw that.
Listen to the sound this one makes.
There's a shot, well tagged, deep left center. That ball is gone, and this is a tie game.
Yes.
Yandy Diaz, you talk about driving a ball. Wow.
So we're sitting down the left field line. We got to see the trajectory of that shot, and that thing was a line shot. What was the exit velocity on that? 108, I think
that was.
It was
111.
111.
And it went 434 feet. That was the farthest part of the ballpark right there that he got it into.
That was a bomb.
He's hitting bombs lately.
Yeah.
And he's just hitting his normal swing.
It doesn't look
It looks
different.
like.
Yeah.
It doesn't look that much different. By the way, he did the bat flip again. He's patented that now. That's officially the Yandy Diaz bat flip.
Keep it coming.
4 home runs. He's probably going to set, at this pace, he's going to easily break his career mark.
What is his career high, like 11 or something?
I want to say he hit like 13 his first year with the Rays.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, he can blow past that easily. All these guys can.
And then, of course, later, just to add salt to the wounds, Brandon Lau. This was in the 7th inning, right?
Yeah.
This was in the 7th inning off Cutter Crawford.
He barely missed one the time before.
Yeah, he barely missed
to the
it.
warning track.
But here was the one, his 5th home run in 5 starts.
This one, Rays lead 8-3. Brandon Lau leads off and hits a high shot into deep right field. That ball is gone. Brandon Lau.
How far was that one?
Hits his 5th home run.
That was .399, 106.6 off the bat.
Yeah, that was
more of an upper one.
Yeah, a little underspin one. So once again, the Rays do it. 9-3 was the final in this one, and what's Kevin Cash to say after this? Well, let's listen in.
for 7 runs. What was most impressive about that?
Just the overall quality of the at-bats. I mean, I can't say that we foresaw that coming, but we've got a bunch of guys that are seeing the ball well right now. We've come up with some timely hitting that might have been the most timely to date. But we got momentum, and it seemed like it was just going to continue to roll. I mean, Manny's at bat, the bases loaded bunt, that certainly shocked me. And then Harold comes up and hits a double down the line to kind of open the game.
13-0. Franchise record for a winning streak, and you matched a modern day record with 13 in a row in Major League Baseball. How does that sound?
Pretty amazing. I mean, congrats to all of our guys. I'm glad that we did it at home because we had tremendous fan support throughout this entire homestand. They really got loud when we needed them to, and it seemed like our guys were energized by that. But no doubt, when you do something like that, you're playing really well, and there's not one part of our game right now that we don't feel good about.
What's up with Jeffrey Springs and what?
I think I'm hoping it's kind of just an ulnar nerve irritation. We'll have more information probably tomorrow afternoon, I hope. It's unfortunate. There's no doubt that's the only damper that was put on today. But Springsy said he felt something. He threw that one pitch about 75%, and he just said, I'm just not quite right. So made the decision there. Certainly he's going to be frustrated just because he started out so hot for us. But we'll just see what the doctors say.
And then with Bristow's Kelly, what they were able to do for your team.
Yeah, awesome job. Kevin Kelly, every outing we talk about the comfort that he's and the confidence that he's gaining, certainly showed that. And then for Braden, I mean, that's quite the debut. We've seen it now back-to-back. One guy gets a win, one guy gets a save. And, the first batter wasn't sure which way it was going to go, walking guys, but then he got pretty convicted with his stuff. And I don't know how many he struck out, but there was a lot of swing and miss in there.
Kind of seems like we're getting an ongoing theme with the Rays, these comebacks. It's like when they strike first, you guys have an answer for it, and it seems like it's gone that way all year.
Yeah. I mean, the guy right now, I mean, there's no reason for the guys not to feel good about if we can keep it close, that we can do some things, get some guys on base and come up with some big hits. Kluber was tough. We know him pretty well, but he mixed and matched pretty good with us. Kind of moved the ball all over the place, kept us quiet, but when we needed to get those timely hits, we did.
Margot's bunt, is that his freedom to do that, or is that a call from third base?
No, that's him. I think we were all pretty shocked. I just asked him when did he decide to do that, when he got in the batter's box or when he was on deck, or what the thought process was, but it worked.
Did he give an answer?
No, he didn't, no.
Bases loaded bunt.
Yeah, you don't see that very often.
No.
When things are going good, maybe that goes good too.
Good old country hardball.
You sense a little bit of that contagiousness with the hitting, like when you start get that inning going, and it seems like that pass the baton mentality.
Yeah, I mean, look, that was Bilal kind of got it going with tough matchup with Blyer right there, and then I think most of our damage came with 2 outs, so there was a little bit of momentum. I mean, we were pumped when Bilal found a hole, kind of up the middle, and then the rest of the guys just came in and did some good things. Randy Wander hit by pitch, and then Manny with the bunt, and then Harold.
He had 2, went down and found that ball about an inch off the ground and poked it to the right side.
I mean, it was a unique matchup in that Corey knows Frankie pretty well. Frankie knows Corey pretty well, and there were plenty of pitches that were probably designed just for Frankie, but he did get that one and pulled it into right.
I know you won't know officially more until tomorrow, but if it's the best case scenario, will he still miss time, you think, Springs?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, it has not been said to me yet, but I would highly, the way we normally operate,
right, just
I would imagine
it down or whatever.
Correct, yeah.
Is he going to see a specialist?
I do not know that. He's going to see a doctor, probably get some imaging, but as far as a specialist, like out of town, most of I think his images will be here for right now.
And we'll hear from Jeffrey Springs in a moment. And, this is just exactly this is a manager's dream, the way this team is playing right now. He's pushing all the right buttons and the guys are responding. It's perfect baseball and it's fun to watch. No question about it. Let's hear from Jeffrey Springs on this injury and see if we can get kind of a feel for because losing him and Eflin and not having Glass now, this thing could go south in a hurry.
I guess take us through what happened on the mound and what you felt.
The pitch prior kind of just felt a little bit of something in the the elbow forearm area. It was kind of hard to pinpoint. Obviously they came out kind of trying to stretch it out just to see how it felt, and then when the warm up just a little bit kind of like a zinger kind of in like the forearm a little bit. Just thought it was best probably not to continue at that point until I can figure out what it is, but yeah, we'll see tomorrow. Hopefully it's nothing more than just a nerve kind of flared up. But, everything else seemed to be okay with the testing and stuff, so we'll see.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's your gut feeling? And you're getting imaging tomorrow, we heard?
Yeah, imaging tomorrow as far as gut feeling, just hoping for the best. Hopefully, it's just a nerve thing that kind of, flared up. I've been very fortunate. I've never had any elbow issues or anything like that, so this is all kind of new. So we'll see. Like right now I feel fine and everything, so hopefully that's all it was.
Is it a matter of numbness or not being able to grip the ball, or like how would you kind of describe it?
Kind of like a funny bone, like you hit your funny bone, just in the forearm, kind of running down the hand. So yeah, I mean obviously you got to be able to squeeze it out there, and if something like that, if I can't just throw it like I want to, then yeah, it was kind of a funny bone, kind of a shot zinger kind of thing down the forearm.
So not really pain as much as just like that.
No pain. Sensation. No, I mean, I didn't feel anything pop or anything like that. Everything felt fine. I felt fine all day. I've been feeling fine. It was just more of kind of like that nervy shot down the forearm to the hand.
Well, it's something, but we just don't know what it is. And I mentioned, kind of jokingly, loose bodies before, and sometimes that's what happens. You've got a lot of bone chips and things running around in there because it's just a lot of wear and tear over the years. And sometimes it gets into, underneath a tendon or underneath a nerve or just in a bad spot. It just needs to be kind of, get calmed down from an inflammation standpoint, and then you're fine. Or, it could be a sign of something that's deeper and more troubling. So we'll find out soon enough. I mean, look, we've said it from the get-go. The only thing that can really derail this team right now is a rash of injuries, and we're getting that in the pitching staff, which is unfortunately all too familiar for the Rays, which is why we kind of said yesterday, let's pump the brakes on this a little bit. These are really bad teams that they played, but still the numbers are the numbers, and they'll get the taste of the better teams. They got Toronto this weekend, so this is a really, really good baseball team. They've won absolutely nothing yet. Set a little bit of history, but if there's one thing that's going to derail them, that's what it is.
Yeah, I would say I'm more confident they can overcome pitching injuries than injuries to the lineup. I think I could agree. I think people would agree with that, right?
Well, look at the guys that they brought up already and how they've answered the bell.
Exactly. I mean, look, Kevin Kelly, Bristow, Taj Bradley, the way he performed. Yeah. I mean, does he need to make a U-turn back with the? I think
so.
I don't know.
I think so.
Yanni Chirinos is obviously going to be an option. Patino and maybe some other guys are going to get a look as well. At this point, you're just hoping that Eflin can get back, like they say, because it sounds like he's going to have the minimal stint on the IL with this back injury, and he'll be back. You got to hope that happens because, I mean, the fact that we're already here 13 games in and the only two guys that are standing from your rotation are McClanahan and Rasmussen, it doesn't sound great necessarily.
No, the 13-0 hides that certainly.
Yeah, but I mean,
otherwise we'd all be in panic
mode. A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Fleming, I think we have our issues with him as a starter, but when you put him behind the opener, historically, he seems to do well. So, look out for that. I think they'll piece it together. They're too good of a team, in my opinion, not to piece it together. They've shown they can overcome anything. I mean, yesterday, it might have – I don't know what was the most impressive thing yesterday, but definitely when Springs goes down in the third inning and you're looking at, well, here we go. The bullpen's going to have to carry them through this game. Bullpen didn't look good the night before.
No.
How's it? And they were losing 3-1 at the time.
Right.
And we got soft bloopers, falling in. So it looked like luck.
One of those days.
It was one of those days where their luck was not going on their side. But then you have two rookies come in and go, 7 innings combined, essentially, after Clevenger kind of didn't have his best stuff?
Right.
I mean, they've answered every single challenge so far this season, so I don't have much reason to doubt them. I mean, obviously the level of competition being a lot different now with Toronto, though.
Yeah. Absolutely, and that's going to be a step up. And you know Toronto's going to be waiting for him. We got a little Toronto-Tampa Bay thing going on here for the weekend, huh?
I'm telling you, the Rays need to get out and get a nice start to this series with Toronto.
Yeah.
Give some good vibes for our Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if they went in and swept Toronto, holy crap, that would be. And don't forget, they still have 6 with the White Sox and 3 with the Reds this month.
Yeah, they got the Reds immediately after this series in Toronto. They go to Cincinnati.
Who are not terrible. They beat yesterday.
They're 5-8.
Yeah. We shall see. Get to some of the comments here. Lonnie Wilkins, applaud the Mr. Softy move. So good. Yeah. That's great at the ballpark.
And I passed the Dippin' Dots to do it, by the way.
You did?
I ignored the Dippin' Dots. I'm usually I went out of my comfort zone yesterday at the ball game. I didn't even get a hot dog.
Right.
And I didn't get peanuts. I replaced that with, like a kid, I went to the chicken tenders yesterday.
In the helmet.
And then I got the helmet with the Mr. Softy.
Did you keep the helmet?
No, I didn't keep the helmet.
You didn't keep the helmet?
No.
Oh, my God. What's wrong with you? Richie P says that bump by Margot was ballsy and confident as F. Yeah, I think it was a kind of that's a demoralizing play to the Red Sox too, right? It's like, oh, really? This now too? This is what you're going to do to us? Yeah, I love it. Richie P, for him to drop that bad boy was so unselfish, like Tina Turner said, we don't need another hero. Nice. We're doing Taylor Swift references here, okay? Let's keep it to that today. Well, I love me some Tina Turner, don't get me wrong. Call me old school, but removing the shift, playing faster, it seems like some of the gut moves that Madden used to lean on is showing Cash's brilliance. Well, obviously he didn't call for the bunt, but yeah, I think Kevin Cash is just.
How many managers give their players the freedom to do that?
I honestly don't know in today's game. It kind of depends on the player, but I think for the most part they're all control freaks and they'll
That's what I thought. Yeah. But Kevin Cash has told you in all these press conferences that at this moment he's just sitting back and saying, y'all go do your thing. I'll supervise.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many managers would give somebody the freedom to just go and bunt like that with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
Not many. I'm glad it worked. I don't know if this is good medical advice. Richie says, Reese Springs injury. Dr. Google said put an aspirin on it and go on Pornhub for 10 minutes and he should be good. Use your right hand, though. Don't give the other one a rest.
I got no comment to that comment.
Okay.
None.
I'm kind of shocked MLB hasn't moved the Rays to a much-watched time slot, really. Is that what you're shocked about that? They led SportsCenter last night. I was shocked.
I was going to say, every time they win these games, like ESPN's like Twitter account and social media, they immediately put the graphic up about the Rays.
Yeah.
They're getting their respect. Yeah. They're getting their respect.
Comedian Roy Wood Jr., Florida guy, said Rays will sweep Toronto, but in true baseball fashion, the Reds will drop a 20 spot on them, which is what they're doing now is amazing. That's baseball, though. That's we keep saying that. It's just, in baseball, bad teams can beat good teams anytime, anywhere.
And somebody put that out on Twitter yesterday, and I can't remember who, and it was like everybody that's complaining about who the Rays are playing and everything and who they're beating, you're a fan of a team that's going to lose at least 2 games to these shitty teams throughout the week.
Yeah.
Your favorite team is going to do that.
That's the way it works.
It's the way it works. I mean,
Major League Baseball.
It's the way it works.
Right.
The Tigers beat the Blue Jays last night.
Right. That's the way it works.
The Tigers.
Yeah.
The A's have scraped across 4 wins somehow.
Yeah, exactly. We go and people just chalk, they're just bad teams. Yeah, but you got to go out and beat them. It's baseball. You got to go out and beat them.
And again, I can't emphasize more. We said this yesterday too. It's the way they're doing it, the dominant fashion. They haven't had one at-bat in the bottom of the 9th inning. They haven't had one at-bat in the bottom of the 9th inning.
They have not batted in the bottom of the 9th. We're 2 weeks plus into the season. Come on. It's ridiculous. That may be the most – I keep saying, that's the stat.
I don't know what's the most astounding stat
I think the most astounding stat is trailing in 6 of 117 innings. Because think about it. Red Sox get off the 1-0 lead. If you go cold, you could carry that for 4 or 5 innings easily. A 1-0 game, right? Kluber pitched. Kluber was pretty good yesterday. So there's 4 right there. Boom. 6 in the entire 117 innings you've been behind. That's ridiculous. But then again, the margin of victory number is astounding.
Yeah, what is it again? 101 to 30?
Yeah, 101 to 30. So that's 70 in 13 games. So it's almost 5.5, 6.
Yeah, that's averaging 7.76 runs a game.
Yeah.
7.76.
And your opponent is averaging 2.
Yeah.
A little over 2.
Yeah.
So it's about 5 runs a game. 5 runs.
Yeah, you name it. You name a stat. The Rays are number one in it.
The next closest run differential is probably half of that, if not more. That's just it's.
I mean, they've scored 101 runs. The Dodgers have scored 79, and that's the second most.
Yeah, and
79.
the Rays have allowed the least amount of runs.
Yeah, and by the way, that Red Sox team, like, they actually are fourth in MLB in runs with 71, and the Rays essentially made them completely
anemic
for this series.
Yeah. The superlatives are ridiculous. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we're going to get into the Jason Light press conference from yesterday. We'll also get into the Lightning. The Gators had their scrimmage last night. Wasn't great. We'll get into that. Some local baseball news on the high school ranks. The Commanders have been sold, thank God. That was a lot of money. So we'll get into all that stuff when we come back. Stay with us. It's the JP Peterson Show, brought by Law Group. Guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. Hey guys, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. There is no better place to shop for jewelry than the Gold and Diamond Source. We know that. They are the family jewelers, and they will treat you like family. It's always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry super center. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. They don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Golden Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aquamarine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation: home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, and Bay Area Modern Medical Center. And the True Body machine they have over there, they'll hook you up to that thing and get you abs in no time. It's the way it works. It simulates you doing thousands and thousands of crunch sit-ups because it just shocks that, we're doing it very simplistically here, shocks your abs and gets them going. So check it out. And, of course, they got great weight loss programs over there at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. And if you need some testosterone replacement, definitely the place to go. And if you're over 30, you definitely need to check your T levels. So get your blood work done, and then you can get that replacement in a safe, medically directed way, not like some of these clinics that really don't really know what they're doing from a medical standpoint. You'll get the whole thing and the whole body composition if you go with Bay Area Modern Medical Center. So go see our good friend Chris Lugo, and you can get them through BAMMC.com. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the NFL right now, and I'm here to say this draft is going to be, I think, very surprising in a lot of different ways. Where teams go, I think a lot of these quarterbacks are boom or bust type guys, especially Anthony Richardson. I put Will Levis in that category. I even put Bryce Young in that category. Bryce Young in that category because of his size. I mean, he's got everything you ever want to see in a quarterback. There's no question about that. But, you look, you said a lot of the same things about Tua, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not that Tua has struggled to play the games. Tua has struggled to stay in the game. And I still don't think he's going to have a very long career because he's already had too many concussions, and it's his lack of size that has led to those concussions in a very real way. So I think there's a lot of surprises that are going to happen in this. Will the Bucs take a quarterback in the first round? I know Rick Stroud wrote a piece about the Bucs' main goal should be getting an offensive tackle. There's a case to be made for that, no question about it. But I don't think that's a slam dunk at all. They've already drafted 2 right tackles in the last 2 years in Luke Gedeke and Hainsey. They just haven't played them there.
And yesterday they picked up a veteran, Matt Filer, who played, I think he was Pittsburgh's right tackle for a few years, and I saw some guys saying that he was serviceable to good out there.
Right.
Wasn't that great this past year with the Chargers, but he was playing guard. So he has some flexibility on the line, which the Bucs like. And, I mean, who knows? If it's him and Gedeke competing for right, if you move Wirfs to left, Is that satisfy enough for the Bucks?
Yep.
I mean, I guess those are questions, but I still think though tackle is probably going to be something they're looking at in this draft. I mean, if it comes in the first round, who knows? But I think at some point they're going to get one.
Yeah, and they should probably get one that's a natural left tackle because, think about this: if Wirfs were to go down, who's your backup left tackle?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can never have enough offensive linemen. But if you take a good one in the first round, is that okay? Absolutely, I'm totally fine with that. But I don't think you have to go offensive line. And I think you have the flexibility to go quarterback. And I think edge rusher, to me, if I have to say what's the number one need of this team, I mean, again, if you don't have a long-term solution at quarterback, then your number one need is quarterback. So I put that up there with edge rusher. And to me, this is all about how the draft goes, right? It's all about how the draft goes. And don't forget, Jason Licht moved up to get Tristan Wirfs, moved up one spot, gave away a fourth-round pick to get Tristan Wirfs. Obviously, well worth it. Great move to go up and get him. But I think trading back is obviously an option here to pick up another pick in the second round. If Hendon Hooker is still there at 19, do you take him? I don't know. Well, I don't. He may not be. There's a lot of teams that are bringing Hendon Hooker in for interviews, for one of their 30 interviews. So I think there's a lot of interest in him. I don't think he gets out of the first round, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and I think there might be a little bit of a difference between how the media is portraying this draft and the way executives around the league sort of portray it, if that makes sense.
Well, and I don't think every executive looks at it the same way, obviously.
No, I just think the draft boards like you're seeing, whenever they see these polls being done, like Jeremy Fowler has done some of these things where he speaks to all the executives and, you hear player comps and kind of where their boards are, it seems like there's a gap there. Like, I just read a story this morning, and honestly, I kind of saw this coming a little bit because how much I watched him in college. This Dorian Thompson-Robinson from UCLA, he's met with like 10 teams all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Fowler says that this guy is like rising quickly. Like he could be that quarterback that's like right after the Big Five that everybody's talking about, or potentially even push like into that fifth spot as a late charge here. And then I started looking at it. It's like he was really good at UCLA this past year.
He was.
And I looked at his measurables. He reminds me of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
He's 6'1", 210. Jalen Hurts is 6'1", 223. They're very similar in play style. He can run and he can zip and he can throw it.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I was very impressed. I saw him play I saw one UCLA game, and I was very impressed with that. In fact, I remember saying to myself, "Why is this guy not considered one of the top quarterbacks?"
Yeah, like when I was looking at I remember looking at all the other quarterbacks after the Big Five, and I remember I circled his name, and I was like, okay, I know this guy physically looks like he probably could do it. And obviously now he's rising here, meeting with 10 teams. So I think there's probably a little bit of gap like that at all the positions from where the executives are thinking and maybe what all the mock guys are thinking.
And there's a Brock Purdy in this draft, too.
There always is.
And you know who that is?
Who?
Stetson Bennett.
Well, I saw the report yesterday that they think he's going to go undrafted. A lot of teams.
Well,
major off-the-field concerns.
Brock Purdy almost did go undrafted.
But Brock Purdy didn't have off-the-field concerns.
True.
Stetson Bennett has, the quote was major offensive concerns with this guy.
Really?
Off the field.
Wow.
I mean, did you see the police video?
It wasn't good.
You got to go watch the police video. That, to me, probably all the teams that could have been interested said, yep, no.
Yeah. You want to talk about, immaturity and entitlement.
Which is shocking, by the way. Shocking. Because you see these guys, it's like he looks like the leader of that team. You win 2 national championships. You're like, oh, no, he's a grown-up, obviously. He is a grown-up, right?
Yeah.
And you go, oh, there's no way this guy has issues. Well, he does.
Yeah. It's like I've said this before. He went from, the lovable underdog kid that you want to root for to the cocky frat boy you want to punch in the face.
Yeah. But then again, is it that shocking? Because Kirby Smart's winning a lot of football games.
Yeah.
But they're having a lot of issues off the field lately.
It's funny that it comes hand in hand, doesn't it?
It usually does.
Yeah. You get the win in that because you got to – this might be why you dovetail into what the Bucks are looking for. You got to have a certain amount of dog and nasty and some, there have been some quotes. Was it I'm trying to think of who had the quote about recruiting. It's like, when I want to find those edge rushers and those bad guys on defense, I go to some of the worst neighborhoods and find those guys because those guys have they've dealt with a lot of adversity in their life.
Was that Dion who said that?
I think it was Dion who said it.
He got hammered for that.
He got hammered for it. He gets hammered, but it's real. It's real. It's real. Listen. It's kind of like the speech, Jack Nicholson's speech, right? It's like the things you don't want to talk about at cocktail parties, right? The things you want to talk about on NFL Network and and on ESPN and those fancy studios, right? You want guys that are nasty. You want dogs. You want guys that have anger issues on defense, and that's what basically Jason Licht was saying in code. You want some of those guys that just have a mean streak in them, and maybe aren't the choir boys that a lot of people want to think that all these players are. All right, and that's okay. Everybody grows up in different cultures, and you got to deal with different things. But if there's one thing that this Bucs defense needs, it's
nasty.
some dogs. Some dogs, right?
Yeah, and Jason Licht, the way he's been drafting here the last 4 or 5 years on defense, he's prioritized guys who are. I think the 2018 draft or the 2019 draft, the Anthony Nelson, the Mike Edwards, that whole draft.
Yeah.
Every guy they picked up, they had one thing in common.
They're team captains.
They were team captains on their defenses, and that was no surprise, right? And you could say, obviously, that's worked out for them. But
you need those guys.
You need those guys. I think they have some of those guys on the team, but you need alphas who are dogs.
Like
and
Sapp.
That's kind of what they're missing, I think, on that defense. Like Ndamukong Suh and JPP were that.
Yep.
You need to find replacements for those two dudes that are younger.
Yep, I agree, 100%. Let's play number 14 from Jason Licht. This is code words for those kind of guys. Jason Licht's press conference yesterday.
Well, like I said, we have a lot of areas that we could improve or upgrade or add depth to. So I would say we do need to get faster. We do need to get more physical.
Faster and more physical. We need some freakish athletes with attitude on defense. Because, you go through that locker room, JTS, super nice guy. Really, cut, good-looking dude, could be a model, got all those shirtless selfies that he had to remove on draft day. But 4 sacks a year.
He doesn't play mean.
He doesn't play mean.
I don't know. I have no idea if Logan Hall has that in him. I just haven't.
Seems like a really, really nice guy. Good-looking fella. Very polite. Really nice guy. Yeah, Rondé's an interesting example because Rondé is the nicest human being on the planet. When he got on the field, and John Lynch was like this too. Both of those guys away from the field couldn't be nicer, more polite. Big smiles. It's great guys. But when they got on the football field, they were assholes. They were just bloodthirsty sons of bitches. They were, and there was a compete level there. Do we have some of those guys? I think Levante David's kind of that guy a little bit.
It's like Carlton when he's really in a matchup that he can sink his teeth into.
Yeah,
he turns into that. I think
Antoine Winfield is that. I think it's one thing we missed last year, the safety that went to Pittsburgh.
Jordan Whitehead.
He was like that.
I think Ryan Neal's like that.
Yeah. There you go. Ryan Neal needs to be that way. Ryan Neal, you need some. I think that's one of the reasons they picked him up. Mm-hmm. So, who's that guy in the draft? Who's that guy coming off the edge?
Let me. This guy's not an edge guy, but I'm just going to bring it up because a lot of Bucs fans, I think, have this idea that he could fall that deep. Let's see what happens. Is Jalen Carter?
Yep.
Who has all the talent in the world to be a top 3 pick,
mm-hmm.
but the off the field issues. It's going to be interesting to see how far he falls down the board. I know the talent, but is that he fits the nastiness that you're looking for. The problem is he also fits the things you don't want off the field, right? And Jason Licht has always tried to steer clear of that. Or if he has taken a chance on somebody who's had off-the-field concerns,
mm-hmm.
he's actually gotten bit in the ass a little bit on it. If I recall Noah Spence being the most glaring example.
Yep.
So
could never get that guy on the field. Always had, flashes in practice.
Always something.
There was always something. Always something with that guy.
So I don't know. I think Jason Licht has learned so much from his mistakes through his first 4 years, I think, as a GM to allow him to have a better second half as a GM. I think even if that guy fell to you, he fits the nastiness mold. There's no doubt about it. But
Well, and the thing about it is you got to have a team around him of veterans that's going to teach him how to be a professional. And I think with Levante David, it's one of the key reasons you had to bring him back because I think Levante is the adult in the room there.
Yeah.
He's certainly not Devin White. We'll get to him. I think Vita Vea is that guy. I think, Anthony Nelson is a veteran. But
I think Will Golston serves the purpose for that
sure.
and that only at this point.
And they'd like to bring him back.
And I think that's why.
Yeah. And you need some of those guys, too. There's, you need all types of personalities. But I think the one type of personality that's missing is that Ndamukong Suh, JPP type of guy. So,
and they got to get one of those in the edge because I don't think Shaq's not that guy from a personality standpoint. The three guys that are there, Shaq, Joe Tryon, Anthony Nelson, they're kind of ho-hum, I guess, in their demeanor a little bit.
Yeah, they can all go out with my daughter. They're all nice young men.
You want somebody that can.
I want somebody who I don't want to go out. Stay away from that guy. He's trouble. That's but it sounds weird, but you got to have some of that on your defense.
Yeah, because it sounds weird because I guess there's guys who I have an idea of who I'd like as an edge pick at 19 if they were there, like a Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
I have no reason to think that Nolan Smith is a bad guy or anything, but I know he plays nasty.
I don't know the personality.
I know he plays nasty. I mean, if you were going edge, if that guy's at 19, I think if he'd probably be like best player available standpoint as well, so he would kind of check both boxes in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. If they feel like they don't want to go quarterback, I mean, if all five of them are taken for whatever reason, because they're not trading up to get any of these guys. I don't think they're doing that at all.
No, they're trading back.
If anything, they're trading back.
But I say that, but if you got a guy that's sitting there at 16 and you love him and it's going to cost you they don't have a fifth or whatever, or maybe a pick from next year to move up and get him, you get him. You get, and that's where
maybe. And Jason Licht is pretty aggressive when it comes to that stuff.
Yes, he has been. He likes to move. I think he's done a trade in almost every draft.
Yeah,
multiple. So I think. If you got to trust your scouts. You got to trust your scouts and trust your guys. And if that's a guy you really, really think is a difference maker, and it's going to cost you I have no problem with them using future picks in this draft because they need to get younger and faster now, and they've got to plug some holes now
at the big positions.
At the big positions.
It's sort of whatever you think about 19. It's got to be either quarterback, edge, or tackle.
Yeah.
You've got to get a guy at one of those positions.
Yeah, and if then that's where the quarterback thing is so interesting because, whoever I don't know who they have graded up there, right? I don't know what they're grading Will Levis at. I think Levis and Hooker are the only ones possible to be there.
Well, I mean, I just don't know with Levis actually because Indianapolis is sitting up there, and the report yesterday was that they have him graded higher than Anthony Richardson. Will Levis.
Okay.
So that would tell you that if he's there at 5, where they are, or if they make a trade with Arizona at 3 to get there, then they take Will Levis, so that takes him out of the equation. I don't think for 1 second Anthony Richardson's making it past probably, 6 or 7, Seattle, maybe even Oakland, I don't know, or Las Vegas rather. I don't think he's making it out of the top 10. And I think Hendon Hooker, there's probably going to be a team that probably is going to take that chance at some point.
I
so
agree.
It might even be likely that none of these guys get there.
Yeah. And I would love to see them take it. And to me, the home run draft would be an edge rusher falls to them, like Nolan. Edge rusher falls to them. They get him in 19.
Or this Lucas Van Ness also from Iowa they really like. And I think he was earlier this week. He was here at $1 as well. They really like him.
And then they jump back into the first round by trading away their first round pick next year to get Hendon Hooker. I'll take that. I'll take that in a heartbeat. Stash Hooker.
I don't think that's that likely though.
Why not?
Because you still are uncertain a little bit of what kind of team you're going to have here, I think, in the future. And you got to pay Wirfs, you got to pay Winfield. You're still kind of paying bills on some guys. Is it really in interest to just give up the first that you have the following year? When you could honestly, if this goes south quickly, which there's a possibility it could, that could be a high pick for all you know. It's a lot of risk, I think.
Boy, if it's a high pick, you've effed up a lot or got a ton of injuries. I just think, again, if you don't have a long-term solution at quarterback, you got nothing. Mm-hmm. And Hooker I just think that he is such a pure passer of the football, and he's fast, and he's all those good things.
Well, let's listen to what Jason had to say about the possibility of drafting a quarterback.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, it's the toughest position to find. It's the most important position on the team. You see teams that in consecutive years take them in top 10. We have an unknown in Kyle. We have Baker, who's had some great years, and now we're hoping that he shows up this year in that competition, and we get the best out of one of them, or both of them. But I would not be afraid to take another quarterback, because might as well have another shot at it. So maybe not this year, but maybe in the future.
Yeah, the more you get, the more options you got, and because everything is an unknown right now. Kyle Trask is an unknown, but you can make the case that this kid could be really good because of what he did in college. The way people talk about him is Anthony Richardson, his ex-teammates, his ex-coaches.
Everybody loves this guy.
Everybody loves Kyle Trask. Yeah. And the numbers speak. I mean, his numbers in college, his senior season, last 2 years were unbelievable.
I know, but I mean, you could be the smartest. Just because you're the smartest up here and everything, it doesn't always translate.
I know, but it's not like the kid he's got a good arm. He certainly showed accuracy in college. Yes, he showed it in college, in the best league there is.
I'm not sold on his arm.
Most everybody talks about.
I'm not sold on his arm.
I think most people don't believe in Kyle Trask because they say, well, what has he shown here? He hasn't had an opportunity to show anything here. Tom Brady has been the quarterback room. Everything he said was going to go from who's the backup. If you think that Kyle Trask was in a battle with Blaine Gabbert to be the backup quarterback, that's ridiculous. No, he wasn't. There was never a competition for that. Never. Like, Blaine Gabbert is my second, said Tom Brady. He's my guy. I mean, did Trask even go to the UFC event with him? No. Blaine Gabbert and Ryan Griffin did. Because maybe Brady saw Trask as a threat at Jimmy Garoppolo.
Threat.
Maybe he did. How do you know? How do you know? You weren't in there. What opportunity did Kyle Trask ever get? And Tom Brady wanted to play the last game, which was ridiculous. And so I'm not sitting here saying that Kyle Trask is trash. I want to see it. I want to see him get a legitimate opportunity before I just give up on him. You may be the smartest talent evaluator in the world, and chances are he's not going to be a great quarterback, because you know what? Chances are it's very tough to be a good quarterback in this league. Chances are you're not going to be. There's only 15 guys on the planet that could do it very well.
Well,
the chances are he's not going to be.
If you're so interested in Kyle Trask, then why do you want to take a quarterback in round one?
Just like he said, as many options as you can possibly get. I want him on my roster because I got him for 5 years. I got Hendon Hooker for 5 years. I can develop him. At some point, he's going to get an opportunity. And if he doesn't, he's still an asset. I can trade him. If Baker Mayfield comes in here and blows everybody away, and Geno Smith's us, and we sign him to a long-term deal, and then I can trade Trask or Hooker. I got two assets. I can always trade and get something for him. It's not like you're just wasting the pick. Somebody's going to want him. So, but if Baker isn't the guy,
I think it's always that easy though.
And Trask isn't the guy, you got another option who has a first round grade. It's not like this. Oh, he's another option of a 4th round pick. This dude had 50 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. I mean,
he's had about 80 touchdowns and change. I think last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, just ridiculous numbers.
No, I'm all for Hendon Hooker. I'm not all in on Kyle Trask. That's just my reasoning. I'm all in on Hendon Hooker because I'm not all in on Kyle Trask.
I get it. Yeah.
And I'm not committing anything long term to Baker Mayfield.
All right, let's do one more. Oh, let's do the main one. This is light on Devin White yesterday, requesting a trade and where the situation stands.
Yeah, well, first of all, we all have all the respect in the world for Devin. He's done some great things for us as a player, and we look forward to more from him in the future. So he's on our team. We are looking forward to this season. We're gearing up for this season with the draft right now, free agency, and looking forward to him being a part of this team. And if he has the kind of year that we all think he's capable of, we can hopefully put this to rest, and everybody's happy.
So just to reiterate, no intention of trading at this time?
No intention.
You're confident that there wouldn't be a level of disconnect where he would hold out or not play on this contract this year?
Yeah, I can't look into the future. Like I said, we have utmost respect for Devin, and it's part of the business world of this job that we have that I don't like. But he's a competitor. He's a player. Everybody holds him in high regard.
All right, translation. We got all the power here. He's our player. He's on our team. If he doesn't want to play, he's going to miss out on $11.7 million. He's part of our team. We're worried about other things. We're not worried about trading him. He's part of our process moving forward. So if he's thinking about holding out or doing any of those other things, all we can say is we're going to work with you on your contract. We just have a difference of opinion of what you're worth. But we're holding all the power right now, and it's a stare down. It's a game of chicken. Now, don't be fooled. If somebody comes to Jason Licht with a reasonable offer, a second and a fifth, which is what Roquan Smith was traded for from the Bears, I think the Bucs would be stupid to pass on that. I just, for the life of me, I don't know how you invest $100 million, $45 million guaranteed into an inside linebacker.
I mean, we've been saying I don't even know if I'm comfortable with him making the $11.7 million that he's making this year. Truthfully, I just don't rate Devin White as a player.
A great.
I don't know if that makes me a hater or this or that. I'm not trying to hate on Devin White, but I just don't rate the guy as a player. I don't see what everybody else is seeing, I guess. I don't understand where this idea. I mean, I'm hearing people talk about, he's one of the best players on this defense. No, he's not. He was an absolute liability last year, especially for a 6 or 7 game stretch there in the middle of the season. He was a liability. He was almost unplayable out there, costing your team wins, getting called out by team legends.
Yeah.
All while the head coach protected him the entire year and protected him after the year. And now the GM is a great player. He's not a great player. He's not a great player. And honestly, I don't even know if he's a good player.
Well, PFF would suggest that he's not. You turn on the tape. We've talked a lot about this week. There's just the thing that is not in question for me is that he's a $100 million player. And if that's what he thinks he is, and he's going to hold out, and listen, is he going to hold out? I would say at this point, yes. He'll probably do what Roquan Smith did, which come to camp so you don't get fined, but not work out, not play. And then it's just one big distraction. It's one big distraction.
It's what the Bucs don't need right now.
And if you're a transcendent player, then you might put up with that. But I don't, and I think Todd Bowles and Jason Licht have a very different view of who Devin White is. And this is where, you get some problems. You got a coach that, is probably coaching for his job this year, who was also the defensive coordinator, so wants to have a great defense. Mm-hmm. And is this defense going to be better with Devin White than a rookie next year? Probably. The rookie's going to take a learning curve. Now,
where's Devin White's learning curve?
Well, exactly. Now, down the road, are you going to be a better off team if you pay him $100 million? No, you're not.
No.
And that's where Jason Licht has to look out for the long term of this team.
And that is what he wants, by the way.
Right.
I think Jenna even reported that 18 to 20 million he's looking for in that ballpark.
No way.
No freaking way. Under no circumstance. Under no circumstance.
What's more valuable, going out on the open market, getting a premier edge rusher, or paying Devin White? Come on. There's not even a question there. There's not even a question there. So yes, and if you can get a 2 and a 5, now if the compensation starts getting into the 3rd and 4th round, well then you try to keep the player, because I think at some point Devin will not be dumb enough to sit on his butt and miss out on $12 million. Come on, he's not that stupid. Maybe he is. I don't know. But. That seems unlikely.
He's not going to do that. But I think he loves to play football.
Oh, he's
not going to take that anything away from him.
He does love to play football, and I think I think this, maybe this is, his agency telling him, look, if you want to get this much money, if this is what you want to do, this is how you got to play.
I think a lot of this is agent driven.
Yeah, he said, this is how you got to play it. Play it just like Roquan Smith, But you know what? Guys like that, how many times do you see guys like that win championships? I guess you could say.
Listen, the greatest example of a player that continues to jerk now he's jerking two teams basically, is Aaron Rodgers, who was all about control and his price tag. And you know what he's not about? He's not about winning.
Right. He hasn't won squat
he's
in
not
a long,
about
long
winning.
time.
If that dude could come out tomorrow and resolve the whole situation, I'm truly confident he would. If he would commit and be honest and say, yeah, I'm going to commit to 2 to 3 years with the Jets, and there you go.
Right.
He won't do it, though.
No.
Because he has all the power right now.
That's right.
I think he relishes being in control
I agree.
of everything. I'm not saying Devin White's to that degree, but to your point, I think that's the greatest example of a player that has done these things, and I don't see that guy winning.
And what happens? You're holding teams hostage.
He's holding team hostage, like he said he wasn't going to do.
Right.
He said he wasn't going to do it.
And do teams like that typically,
here he is.
typically win championships? No, because look at Baltimore. They've had a playoff team forever, but Lamar gets hurt, the questions about his contract, and then now it's just a team in limbo. It's a team in limbo. And you just don't need guys like that. You don't need attitudes like that. And if he wants to scrub his media, if he wants to, take shots and get in internet fights and social media fights, it's that immaturity level that just shouldn't be part of your culture, and certainly not for a captain.
Exactly. And
Come on.
He cannot wear the captaincy. If he comes back to the Bucs, I think that a message has to be sent.
Yes.
And he needs to, at least for this year, the captaincy has got to go. Even if they resolve the issues and he comes down on his price a little bit, maybe he has a better season I don't know, okay? And he decides he wants to be here long term, make him earn his way back to that, in my opinion. I don't think he can just walk back into this team and just have that C on his chest.
And I don't think Devin White would be okay with any of that. I don't think he's going to apologize to anybody. I don't think he's going to be okay with any of that. He wants it his way. He wants his money, and he thinks he's.
I'm honestly most disappointed about this because of Levante David. That makes me the most disappointed about this is that Levante David is counting on you being there next to him, and he wanted to play with you. He said that. I wanted to play with Devin. It meant a lot to me. Retire as a Buck. That's from a fan's point of view, that's what bothers me the most.
Yeah.
Is you're leaving that guy out to dry. You're going to let him play with KJ Britt this year? Is that what you're going to do?
And all these guys have stood up for you, including your coach.
Exactly.
And this is what you do
so
to
I'm
them.
not picking on Devin
this is
White.
How you
this is just facts.
This is how you repay their loyalty?
Exactly.
You want guys like that around? I don't. Listen, if that's you, I'm all for the guy getting his bag, and if this is the way you want to go about it, fine. Good for you. That's the way you want to play it. I don't think it's good for your team and your team culture, especially when your coach has stood up there when it's on tape multiple times. Everybody can see how you're playing, and your coach is up there telling everybody you're the greatest player in the world. And this is how you replayed the organization and a coach that went to bat for you,
and
scrubbing your
by
media,
the way,
and then demanding a trade.
And by the way, to the point about culture and all that, we're trying to rebuild that too, kind of. Right. And we've talked about it.
If Todd Bowles and Jason Light are smart, and Todd Bowles, you're serious about your culture, you got to get rid of this guy.
My point is is Todd wants to rebuild this culture, and I think he truly believes. Todd does. I don't know about Jason, but Todd, I think he truly believes that Devin is in the centerpiece of that culture change. He wants him to be the guy. He wants him to be the leader. And I think in some respects, we said it all throughout last year, he was probably the alpha on the defense from a communication standpoint, from a rah-rah standpoint. The problem is his play did not line up to that.
Right.
But I think Todd wants him to be that guy.
Sure.
So if you're Devin White, you have the vote of confidence from everybody in that building. And again, and you go do something like this, it's like, what else are you looking for? I know you want to get paid like this and that, but they've already said it over and over and over and over and have showed it as well by not benching you at all last year, giving you the vote of confidence that you're the guy. I just don't understand why you just go this far.
It's almost like a kid that hasn't been, keeps getting away with stuff and is not punished, and you keep sticking up for him, and they just get more entitled.
Not appreciative.
Yeah, they just get more entitled, and that's not the way it's supposed to work. So we'll see how it all works out. Now, they have no intentions of trading him, but if they get something remotely worth it,
And it's not a great linebacker class, so they got to think about that too.
Yeah. Well, there's other linebackers out there, veterans that you can trade for as well. So we'll see how it all works out. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side, get into the Lightning and Toronto. The series is set. We know Game 1's going to be on Tuesday. How do these two teams match up? We'll do a bit of a deep dive into both of them when we come back. Stay with us. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation: home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to jeeveslawgroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to jeeveslawgroup.com. Hey guys, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. There is no better place to shop for jewelry than the Gold and Diamond Source. We know that. They are the family jewelers, and they will treat you like family. It's always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry super center. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. They don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Golden Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aquamarine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Ladies and gentlemen, are you looking to lose weight or just lean up for bathing suit season where there are so many diets and chiropractors and weight loss clinics out there? You don't know where to start, right? We'll start at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and will help you keep the weight off. Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently. Many of these other approaches are designed for the masses. So how's that going to work for you specifically? It's not. Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you so the weight comes off safely without the use of harmful drugs and side effects. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, it's time for the postseason for your Tampa Bay Lightning. Welcome back. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves watched his Gator team last night. We'll be getting into that in a little bit. His beloved Gators orange and blue scrimmage last night ended 10-7. They need another quarterback. They need some skill players. They got a lot of great running backs.
Oh, they got great backs.
ATN and Montreal Johnson. We got a young freshman that looked really good last night.
Although they had to give one to USF, though.
They did. Well, he obviously knew that he was going to be fourth on that depth chart.
Which, by the way, side note, you talked about Brian Battie, the loss of him. I think Naquan Wright's a really good back.
He is.
And I think he'll probably be really, really good in that offense at USF.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
It'll be interesting to see what Brian Battie does at Auburn in the SEC.
It's a step up, but that dude, I think, is a top 20 back in college football.
I think so.
I mean,
he's big, but, man, is he fast. He's got good vision. He can scoot. Good kid, man. Love him. Big loss for USF. And then Xavier Weaver and
Jimmy Horn.
And Jimmy Horn going to Colorado. We'll see what they do with Shakur Sanders out there. That's going to be another great storyline, what Colorado does with Deion Sanders.
Oh, my goodness. I have to get to this comment real quick. I know we're about to go to Lightning.
Yeah.
But I just have to jump to it.
Yeah, we always get the comments in. We love our
Because I've been saying the Rays have getting respect, and Richie just put this in here, and I actually do recall hearing this. Mad Dog Chris Russo, who I'm a fan of, put out his new power rankings and has the Rays at 4 with the Yankees ahead of them. The Yankees. Did you see what happened over there in Yankee Stadium yesterday, by the way, by chance?
Can you say Homer?
A little bit. Did you see the Yanks, though, yesterday?
But they got blasted, didn't they, by the Twins?
They gave up 9 runs in the first inning.
In the first inning?
The most they've ever given up in the first inning of a game.
To the Mighty Twins?
To the Mighty Twins.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think the Rays have given up 9 in a series.
What was that I told you about the Yankees starting pitching being a problem?
Yeah, it's a problem.
There you go.
Yeah.
He had the Yankees at 2 in his power rankings.
Dog.
Doggy.
Come on, dog.
God, between this and the Ohtani Trout comment, you're slipping a little bit, Mad Dog.
Yeah.
You're slipping just a little bit.
He seems like he's like clickbaiting now.
He's clickbaiting. The Rays at 4?
Like, I get it. Like, I'm doing power rankings. I'm not putting the Rays above the Astros just yet.
What are you talking about? Power rankings are supposed to be your form, your current form.
No, I think they're supposed to be so we could kind of.
That's what a power ranking is. It's based on what you've done
this particular time.
at this moment in time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think you're probably right.
But I think he's one of those people.
If your definition is on the power rankings is what is the best team now, then clearly it's the Rays.
But
if you're saying what team do I think is still the favorite to win the World Series, I'd go Astros still.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
I guess this probably depends on your definition of power rankings.
Because the three he has ahead of the Rays are the Astros, Yankees, and Braves. And I think everybody would tell you those are probably the 3 big World Series contenders coming into the season.
Yeah.
So maybe he's not shifting off of that.
The Mets and the Blue Jays, who are right behind him. So he's going with his original group, putting nothing. And the only thing he's doing is giving a nod to the Rays because they've come out 13.
But I've heard he has said some comments. I haven't heard them, but people were talking about it. I guess on one of his shows that he does, he has kind of devalued the Rays' winning streak. He's one of those guys. They haven't played anybody. He's one of those guys.
Well, listen, that's the thing. We haven't. We've played. The Red Sox are not going to be a good team this year. Even our good friend Rich Hollenberg, who we saw yesterday on the way out of the said, Red Sox are probably as bad as the rest of the teams we played. We'll see. But and that's not taking anything away from what the Rays have done. That's a fact, though. They have not played the Yankees or the Astros or the Braves or the Dodgers. They haven't. That's a fact.
Yeah, and
Would they be 13-0 had they played the Dodgers, the Yankees?
No.
No. Okay. I think that's all people are saying. It's like pump the brakes a little bit, And I've said this. You're fanboying. I get it, but it's hard not to. We love this team, but yeah, if we're being objective. We're taking our objective hat and putting it on here instead of our Rays cap, and we're going to say, yeah, they wouldn't be 13-0 if they'd have faced a tougher schedule. I think that's fair to say. Sure. But you can only beat who's in front of you. You don't make the schedule. We'll see what they do tonight against Toronto.
And if they lose to Toronto tonight, you can already know what's going to be said if they lose their first game to Toronto tonight.
Listen, this is going to go on and on. Their April schedule, we've been telling you this forever, is soft as Mr. Softy. And they got 6 games with the White Sox and 3 with the Reds left. I mean, well, how many total games do they have in April? 20, 25, 26?
Around there, yeah.
I mean, they should have 20 wins. They're going to be 15 games over 500 by the end of the month.
Whew.
Holy shiz. They should be at this point.
Yeah, and I hope they keep building a lead because the AL East, by the way, outside of Boston, it's the only division that has 4 teams over 500 right now.
The AL East?
The AL East.
Yeah.
It's living up to its billing.
Yeah, but balanced schedule. That's what the balance. We told you this before the season started. The biggest thing going in the Rays' favor this year is the new balanced schedule. It's tremendous. It's going to give them a huge leg up, and they're already taking advantage of it.
Yep.
So there it is. All right. So last night the Bolts get a big win, 5-0. And as my partner last night on the last call, Brian Engblom, said, momentum does not exist going into the playoffs.
There you go.
And it just doesn't matter. It's like you have momentum, and if the Bruins go out and get beat 5-0 by the Panthers, what does that regular season mean? Squat. It doesn't mean squat. It does, and it doesn't mean squat right now because everybody's 0-0. Now you can look at the teams and say who's really good. Clearly, Boston's a really, really good hockey team. But how many times have we said this? The playoffs are a different animal. So I think what last night gave us, and I think it gives from an individual standpoint, Braden Point gets 50 and 51. Good for him, right? Now he's got a good feeling. I mean, had they lost 5-0 to the Red Wings last night, it would be, for a lot of fans, the sky is falling, right? So this may be more for the fans, get a good feeling going. And as Brian said, the individuals, for Braden Point to get that 50 and 51, that's great. Alex Killorn got his 27th goal. That's a career high for him.
Brandon Hagel got number 30.
Brandon Hagel got number 30. He's the 30-goal scorer now. And that gives him a little bit of oomph in his step. Mikey Asamont got his first goal last night.
Really good game last night.
And with Tanner Janot out, we're going to have to count on him to be a little pain in their ass and give a little different look to this team. And I like what I saw from Mikey Asamont. I've liked a lot what I've seen from him. And Brandon Hagel, and Brian said this last night, he puts him, top 3 or 4 MVP on this team this year. That's how important he thinks he has been to this team this year. So there's a lot of positives that were last night. And Brian Elliott, not so much in terms of the playoffs, but great story. 38 years old, might be his last game. He had given up 6 goals in his 3 previous games. Gets his last start. His son was out on the ice with him last night, which was really, really cool. He was taking it all in, and he gets a shutout. That was a sweet
cool
story last night. But as far as getting this team ready to play, I think does it mean a lot? It's better going into the off season with this kind of feeling postseason than going in having lost 5 in a row and getting beat by the Red Wings at home.
It is.
Yeah. So let's just say that, and let's hear number 50. And this is a big deal for Braden Point because, as I've said all year long, I think he's one of the top 5 to 7 players in the league. Clearly, from a national standpoint, nobody's going to give you that. But I think this puts him in a different stratosphere now as a 50-goal scorer. There's only, 5 of them this year?
5 of them this year, yeah.
5 of them this year. So it puts him in a different stratosphere where he belongs.
Good job. Left circle, Stamkos. Kopp drifts over to apply some pressure. Stamkos chips to Sergachev. Right circle, Kudrov shoots, save made. Rebound, Point! Score! 50! 50 goals! Braden
Braden Point has done it! Welcome to the club, kid. I love it.
Well, you know, they didn't try and pass it to him. It was a shot to the net, and he was there to
got
get the rebound.
And he put it in. That was perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Standing ovation for Braden Point. It took the final period of the final game of the regular season. He made a little move to go wide on his forehand. He had a big grin on his face.
He did.
Yeah, he did. He got Husso to go down, gave him a little dink to the far side, then clipped it to the backside, and just that must have felt like an hour. He had to put that into the open net.
I know.
You know, he had a free open net. Nobody was near him, and just puts it right into the back of the net for 50, becoming the third Lightning player in history, in their 30-year history, to reach that.
I thought that was
milestone.
funny. Phil was like, "Welcome to the club, kid," and I looked it up. Phil had 5 50-goal seasons, and they all came in 5 consecutive seasons, including a 76-goal season in 1970, 1971. 4 of those years, he scored 61 or more.
Holy shit.
Phil was a player back in his day.
He was, yeah. You know, he was, and that's why he always says, shoot the puck. You don't score 76 goals not shooting the puck every time you get a chance to look at the net. And that's what you got, and that's what Kucherov needs to do.
In that season that he scored 76, this is astounding. It's the season he scored 76 goals. He had 550 shots. 550 shots.
How many shots do you think Kucherov has on net this year?
I'm pulling it up right now. He had 271.
I was going to say half. Yeah. 550 shots to 270.
Holy.
That's a whole nother level. That is a whole nother level of shoot the puck. But you know what? I think we saw Kuch with 10 shots the other night.
Yeah, this is surprising, by the way. Kucherov actually shot the puck more than Braden Point this year.
Did he?
Braden Point at 235.
Yeah, he needs to shoot the puck more.
They all need to shoot the puck more.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see that a little bit more in the playoffs. And then Killorn got his 27th goal, and that was a big goal because the Lightning only had one shot in the first 19 and a half minutes of the first period. One shot.
They were just kind of gliding along.
Yeah, and it went in, and that was the big part of it.
It's a stick as he shoots. It comes in front to Cirelli. Got knocked off his stick by Lindstrom before he could shoot. Here's Cirelli again, high slot.
What are you waiting
Left
for?
circle, Killorn. Shoots! Score! Killorn! Alex Killorn now has a new career high for goals in a season. Goal number 27, and the Lightning go up 1-0.
That's their first shot on net, and they score. And to tell you the truth, when I said, you heard me say, what are you waiting for? Cirelli, I thought, was going to give it to him a little earlier because I didn't want him to lose the puck there.
Yeah.
And Killorn gets it, and they're right inside the face-off circle by the hash marks and beats Husso on the glove side.
Yeah, and Cirelli was also right there in the slot. Could have shot the puck himself, but you know he did. He waited for Killorn who went to the net. Great little touch pass, and Killorn gets his 27. So yeah, that Killorn's got to feel good, right, heading into it. And then Hagel, who's kind of been sitting on 29 a little bit, he gets his 30th goal, and again played a tremendous game last night. I think he also had a couple of assists too. He has been tremendous, and that's what this team needs is they've got to have some balanced scoring in the postseason.
No, a pass front knocked away by Sergachev to Point. Chips it up the middle. Hagel, odd man rush here for the Lightning. Hagel across the blue line left circle. A cross-ice feed blocked by Veleno. Denying the pass to Killorn. Now Point in front for Hagel. Score! Well, Point had a chance to shoot there. The puck came to him at the top of the crease, but he gave the puck to Hagel at an open net. Hagel buries it. It's a power play goal for the Lightning.
Well, I don't think that Point had a chance to shoot this, David, because the guy was right on him and he was so close. So he just slid it over.
Yeah.
And
30th goal for Hagel, too.
Yeah, he just slid it over and Hagel put it past Husso. Boy.
Yeah, great touch by Braden Point, and great teamwork there. Because Pointer knew that he couldn't get this goal, and even as bad as he wanted 50, and everybody telling him shoot, He gave it up to Hagel, who gets the goal.
I like that too. They didn't force it with Braden Point down the stretch here to get 50. It kind of all happened naturally, which I like to see. You know, I thought last night, we mentioned Hagel gets 30, Point gets 50, Killorn gets his career high. I thought last night was going to be the night where everybody gets off the schneid a little bit. First. I thought everyone's going to get off the schneid a little bit yesterday because even Nick Paul, if you recall, had a golden opportunity in front of the net.
Yes, he did.
And I just said to myself, I'm like, this guy cannot buy a goal right now. Yeah. He just cannot buy a goal. I would have liked to seen him get one yesterday because I think, I mean, listen, he was as important to anybody on this roster last year in that Toronto series.
Yeah.
Nick Paul scored some big goals in that Toronto series.
That's a great point.
They need him. And kind of looking towards this Toronto matchup, I think Toronto has the edge when it comes to offense in this series. The high-end talent, you could maybe say, is a push on both sides with the four guys up front, Marner, Nylander, Matthews, and Tavares. But, you know, they've gotten contributions all up and down their lineup. Obviously, O'Reilly in there. Michael Bunting's another guy. Kelly Yarncroc. All those guys have more points than the next scorer after the 4 for the Lightning.
Yeah.
Like, they're 7 or 8 deep. And right now, the Lightning are kind of a 4 or 5-man show up front. And you need Nick Paul to score more. I'd like to see Cirelli add a little bit more offense to his game as well. Same thing goes for Ross Colton. I think one of those three, or hopefully all three in the best case scenario, need to get going here in this series for the Lightning have a chance.
Well, as you sit there and, you know, as a fan will do, talk about the offense, I'm going to talk about the defense because that's what's going to win them another Stanley Cup. That's what's going to get them past Toronto. And that, to me, is where they need to be a crap ton better. As you know. So, and I think this is what Cooper is saying as well. Cooper is going to talk about, and you'll see him kind of throw it in here in the post game, as this is going to be the next, 4 days of practice is going to be nothing but defense, defense, defense first, because this is an explosive team that they're playing. Although, Toronto and the Lightning have scored almost the exact amount of goals. It was going into last night's game, they both scored 275. Yeah. So. It's not like this is some explosive team that the Lightning, are going to be outclassed from a scoring standpoint. No. But Coop knows it's the one that keeps him off the board that's going to be the winner.
We get better as the game went on. I liked our third period. So it was a lot of good things happened tonight as that game went on, which I think we're all pretty fired up for. So it was good.
You guys were trying to feed Point there for a while. How nice was it to see him reach?
Yeah, he deserved that. He gets so close to 50, but he's done it, so many different ways. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, like none of them were empty netters, except for the last one. So I might be proven wrong when somebody watches this, but I don't remember him getting an empty netter till the end. So. But he's been the straw that stirred the drink for this team pretty much all year. And you could tell by the reaction of the players on the bench how fired up everybody was for him. So it was, I couldn't be happier for him. He deserved that.
Right, Elliott said it might have been the quietest 50-goal season from anybody just because of the way he handles himself. Is it possible to have a quiet 50?
Well, it is when two guys have 60, but I think there's only 5 guys in the league that have 50 plus, and he's one of them, and he's really turned himself into a premier player in this league. I mean, he's got 2 of the biggest trophies in sports sitting on his mantel case, and he's had countless big goals for us in the biggest moments when we've needed them. But to get 50, and that's a feather in your cap, and he's such an unselfish teammate. I think that's what makes it even more special.
How about for Brian? He's had a rough stretch, as the team has had a rough stretch over the weekend. For him to end the season with a performance like that and get the shutout.
Well, to me, it was during the anthem, he got to stand with his son, on the ice, and so I thought all that kind of just worked out, and so it was great that that happened to him. I think that he'll always remember that this night, especially that he gets to spend, part of it with his son on the ice.
Simon kind of got the tap on the shoulder after Janelle went out. What have you seen in his game over the past few games?
Well, I like that he scored tonight, so that's what I'm saying. It was a lot of big things happen tonight. Anytime you're new to a team and you get your first, that's a little bit of the weight off the shoulders. And then Hag's got 30. And so I think that one's going to go, it's going to slide under that people aren't going to talk about, but 30 goals is it's a lot of goals. And he's set career highs in goals and points, and it's great for those guys.
And what does it mean to kind of have these kind of good vibes going in, coming out of your
Well, it's way better than the vibes we had coming into the game, and it just felt different tonight. And maybe because it was the last game of the year, and maybe because there was nothing at stake in a kind of team dynamic way, but there was a lot of individual performances and milestones that could be hit, and they got hit. And so guys were, like I said, naturally really excited during the game and post-game.
You always say that the regular season is a dress rehearsal for the playoffs. How do you feel about how your regular season dress rehearsal?
We'll be all right. This team knows how to play the game. We're going to play a really good opponent. It's two good teams going to play. We met last year, pretty familiar with each other. In the end, we just got to game it out, and we got a bunch of gamers in the room.
Yeah, that was the key point there. We got a bunch of gamers in this room. I said this last night on our post-game show. Look, this team, we have not seen the best of the Lightning yet. I know this might be a homer take, but I'm not ignoring the fact that this has been an uneven defensive season. The Lightning have not played well on the road as they have in the past. But the bottom line is they got where they need to be. They're in the third seed. They're going to Toronto. They're playing a team they know well. They played a team that they shut down last year in terms of the power play when their power play was so robust coming in. The Lightning held them for 4 for 26 last year in the playoffs, or 4 for 24. And that penalty kill stepped up when they had to step up. Vasilevsky stepped up when they had to step up. Those first 4 games were more high scoring, but game 7 was what? A 2-1 game that the Lightning won. So the Lightning know how to play this team. Now, this is a different team. They made 6 changes. 6 starters came in at the deadline. Most notably Ryan O'Reilly, former Conn Smythe winner with St. Louis, Achari, Luke Shen. Obviously we know him very well, and of course they had to fight the other day. Luke had to, Pat Maroon had to go at it. So look, it is a little bit of a different personnel. No Ryan McDonough, no Palat. I get all that. So it's not apples to apples this year. That being said, it's Vasilevsky against Samsonov, who is 1-6 in the playoffs. Vasilevsky has 2 cups and 6 shutouts in game clinching and series clinching situations. Huge advantage in goaltending to the Lightning, in my opinion. Is Toronto maybe a better team 5-on-5? Maybe. Their power play is excellent. I get it. It's clipping at 26.1%, which is second in the league. Of course, the Lightning are at 25.4%. Not too bad either. So, to me, this is more about a team that is trying to use the Lightning's template to get grittier, to get heavier, and to compete with the Lightning. But how will they do with this pressure pack situation? Haven't won a first-round series since 2004. 2004. I know that the Toronto's favored. I like the Lightning until they prove me wrong, until Vasilevsky doesn't show up in the playoffs, until this team doesn't show up and play smart and play gritty and play hard. They're gamers. It's like Coop said. My guys are gamers. You can tell he's not worried one bit about the uneven play of his team because he knows who he's got in that dressing room.
Yeah, and he has all the confidence in the world in the guys, like you said. And I think, going into this series against Toronto, like you said, all the pressure lies in them. And this is also a different feel for this Lightning team. I think this is the first time probably they're an underdog, I want to say, going into the postseason. I think a lot of people might have think that last year was Toronto's year, but I still think the Lightning were probably favored. This is the first time they're going into a postseason in a long time as the underdog.
Yeah.
So how do you respond to that?
Probably will. And by the way, Samsonov has been out for a couple weeks as well. He's got some type of injury. We're not sure what it is, but he's been resting for a while. How sharp is he going to be? And the Lightning, by the way, they love this whole idea of going on the road. All the pressure's on the home team, especially when it's Toronto. They've got all the tickets to get. They've got all the family to be around. They've got all that stuff. While the Lightning just breeze in there, close-knit group, business trip. Here we go. Let's steal one and get back to our arena where we've played so well. I don't fear Toronto. I don't fear any of these teams in the East. They're all good. And they're all good. Every one of these teams can beat the Lightning, but the Lightning can beat any one of these teams. And if you look at even the Rangers, across the board, the Lightning are going to have the advantage in net. And can they play defense well enough? Can they match up well enough with Marner and Matthews and Giordano and these guys to be able to win closer, tighter games?
And you could say the same thing about Toronto, I guess, but Toronto's defense, they reshaped their entire blue line this year, especially at the deadline. They got a lot of experience by bringing in Luke Shin. Jake McCabe came over from Chicago, and they have Giordano, who's been around this league for a long time, a former Norris Trophy winner. And then what Morgan Riley and Gustafsson are more offensive than defensive defensemen. But so I think this is probably Toronto's best looking defense that they've had in a long time. No coincidence. They knew they were going to have to face the Lightning going back to like November, December.
Right.
So I think that was easily the goal that they wanted to get to. They've been actually a better defensive team than the Lightning this year.
Yep.
So to your point, I think the Lightning's edge right now, if you're comparing everything, I think they have the edge in net, no doubt about it. And I think John Cooper over Sheldon Keefe is also a very important part here.
Of course. Absolutely. Could not agree more. So, look, I'm ready for it. I can't wait for this postseason. There's a pep rally, by the way, on Sunday at Sparkman Wharf from 12 to 3. They've got a scavenger hunt going on this weekend, a pub crawl. So go to the Lightning app or the Lightning website to get all the information on that. If you want to look for some things to do this weekend, if you're a Lightning fan, you want to get jacked up and get some playoff gear and all that fun stuff. They were handing out the car flags last night. So it's playoff time, baby, and I'm ready for it.
It's playoff time, but we don't turn. The cool thing about this year is we're not turning off the Rays.
We're not. We can't.
Or we can't turn off the Rays as we go into this postseason. We've done that a lot this year, and then we come back into the Rays in about July usually.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot different this year. A lot different this year.
You can't ignore it. You can't ignore the streak, at least.
Which I wanted to bring this up, by the way, because I just found this while scrolling through Twitter. Rays streaming is up 125% this year. 125% it's up this year.
On the Bally's app?
On the Bally's app. And yesterday's game was the most watched game on Bally in 3 years. A daytime game.
Nobody cares about the Rays.
Nobody cares about the Rays.
They don't have any fans. So stupid. So stupid take.
Yeah, and by the way,
Mike Bell, talking to you, Mr. Atlanta.
The Jared Caravis dude that everybody at the Rays keeps kind of saying is a hater, the Red Sox fan I told you about.
Yeah.
He said, I try to tell you about these Rays fans. They out there. Get them a brand new ballpark in an area that's convenient to get to, and you'll see them.
Duh.
So everybody gives that guy crap for being like a Rays hater, and I'm like, no, he's not.
No,
he understands.
Listen, we can hate the stadium. We can hate the owner. We can hate the way he does his business. Not hate him personally, but hate the way he runs the business, and that's okay. And still be a Rays fan. You can be. In fact, I think you're more of a Rays fan because you want long-term growth for this team. You want long-term stability for this team, and long-term stability does not, in my opinion, does not equal St. Petersburg. It's the growth area. It's Tampa. It's Ybor City. It's that Channel Side area. It's all that.
Yeah, but it just makes it fun, though, for this time again as a Tampa Bay fan, as somebody in this area. But we've been telling you, don't take this run for granted that all these teams are on. And now you get playoff hockey again. The Rays are the best team. We have the most important draft in probably Bucks history coming up right here, I'd argue.
100%.
I mean, it doesn't let up here in April and May.
No.
It ain't letting up one bit.
There's a lot to cheer for. All right, let's take our last break. When we come back, we're going to get to some of the national stories, including Jonathan Toews saying goodbye in Chicago. The Commanders have finally been sold. Goodbye, Daniel Snyder. A little bit more on the spring games that are coming up this weekend and what we saw last night with the Gators. Stay with us. Are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to JeevesLawGroup.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back as we wrap things up on this Friday, Taylor Swift Friday. Yep, that's right. I'll be at the concert tonight with my lovely daughter and lovely girlfriend, Ashley. Boy, her outfit is something else. Stay tuned to the pictures.
I had to go. Casey dragged me around town last night because she's going tonight.
Oh, is she? Oh, cool.
And so apparently I've been told.
I want to see her outfit.
Apparently I've been told that you have to have a special outfit for this concert.
You have the sparkle fit.
In her words, she's like, you can't just show up in a jeans and a T-shirt.
Well, if you're a guy,
I said if I was going, I'd be wearing jeans and a T-shirt.
That's what I'm wearing.
Okay.
That's what I'm wearing tonight. Absolutely.
But I mean, a wild goose chase.
The middle-aged man hat.
Yeah.
Hat, T-shirt.
Wild goose chase yesterday all across town to find an outfit for this
Something
concert.
Sparkly?
Not sparkly, but it's. She said it has to look obnoxious as possible.
Obnoxious.
I'm like, all right. You all have fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. The parking and everything is going to be tough. This is like Bucks games you can get in and out of pretty relatively quickly. When things like this happen, because I think last night somebody told me that they sold tickets at Steinbrenner Field as well and had a big video board up there, the secondary location, which is crazy.
I got stuck in that traffic a little bit yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
It took me about an hour and 45 to get home yesterday from the Trop.
There's going to be a lot of stuff going on, man.
So I'm staying home during those hours.
You see Lane Kiffin trolling the Gators on Twitter? He took a picture of the 7-7 score midway through the fourth period with a couple of fire emojis.
How boring.
Lane Kiffin. Well, it wasn't the most spectacular of games for.
It was not a display of football that you want to show.
Lane Wild. Oh yeah, it's. I mean, look, it's spring football. They don't have really any dynamic quarterbacks. Or you could say that the defensive transfers that came in played pretty well.
Well, that's how they're spinning it. Is the defense?
Right.
The defense made it really hard on us tonight. Was what Billy said.
You going with that?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
And the best defensive players were transfers.
Yeah.
So there seems to be, but they did get a 5-star safety to commit last night, which is a big deal for them. So I think they're up to 8th for the next recruiting class, which is, if you're a Gators fan, that's where you got to be. They just moved one head of FSU, who was 9th. So a long way to go in recruiting, obviously. But look, spring games, they are what they are. But I think it's pretty safe to say that right now it looks like FSU is ahead of the pack in the entire state. They're preseason ranked, and these are obviously garbage, but they've got a lot of good players coming back. Florida State's the class of the state right now.
Well, they're the only team in the state of Florida that's not going through some sort of transition,
especially at quarterback.
Yeah, because Miami and Florida to me are in the same boat right now. Second-year head coaches, who I think both are probably going to get it turned around at some point.
Really good recruiters, good coaches, solid. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, USF and FAU have 2 new head coaches, and they're in a new kind of remaked conference. My alma mater, UCF, is moving on to the Big 12, so that's new right there.
They'll have their spring game tonight.
Spring
correct?
games tonight at the Bounce House, so I'll be tuned into that. So yeah, I think if you look at it from that standpoint, Florida State's the only school that kind of is like in a nice little spot right now where there's no change, there's nothing new, and they're coming off 10 straight wins last year to end the season.
Yeah,
and they're probably going to be ranked in the top 7, I want to say, when we get to the preseason rankings. So I would agree with that.
And USF will have their spring game tonight at Corbett Stadium, the soccer stadium. A lot of good things going on for fans. So that's going to be, if you're not going to Taylor Swift, go check that out. I think it's free to the public, and a lot of cool stuff going on there.
It's obviously going to be very intimate. So
yeah. Is that the way you put that?
Yeah.
So that's tonight. If you want to go check that out at USF, the Alex Golesh.
Oh, there you go again.
Golesh era begins as far as the spring game goes. Anyway, we're going to see Tate Rodemaker and AJ Duffy, Jordan Travis. I don't know how much he's going to play in the spring game for FSU. That's tomorrow at Doak Campbell Stadium. So they've just got so much talent. I'm looking forward to seeing, and they've got some transfers coming in like Jaheim Bell from South Carolina, big tight end, to see what he'll probably do some stuff in the spring. So a lot of good stuff going on at all these, and we'll wrap all those up when we come back and talk to you on Monday. So a big weekend for the Rays as they head off to Toronto. The Bolts will be practicing, getting ready for Toronto, which starts Tuesday night. I think it's going to be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday should be game 1. We'll find out more on that tomorrow probably, and we'll have that whole schedule. So y'all have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us all weekend long. If you missed anything, you can go back to fanstreamsports.com, to jppetersonshow.com. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify and Apple as well. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you then.